Ramblin' Man Moto here. I'm gonna give you a little reminder / warning that your audio doesn't go from this
You have.
to this. That's right, my fellow moto vloggers. I was out on a ride recently and recorded probably, I don't know, hour and a half of footage that, due to my own mistakes, sounded like this. So how to avoid that happening? Well, like many motovloggers, I used a wired microphone in the past that looked something like this. I tried a couple of different brands, tried to test the sound, and basically what you do, for those who don't know, is you take this end and plug it into your camera that, remember, is sitting on the front, usually, of your motorcycle helmet. And there's a small chance that this will come loose, or you don't push it in all the way and you're going to lose your audio. And then you have to figure out the best way for your helmet to route all this wire into the helmet, and then have the microphone be at the front. And remember, you usually also have a second microphone if you have a headset, right? So you get two microphones coming in. And if you have a modular helmet, what I found was all of this created its own little headaches too. But one way to avoid what I had happen is to go with a wired setup, because at least it will help you avoid the problem I ran into, was my battery failed. So what am I using now? So right now you'll see I have the DJI wireless mic on as I record this video. When I decided to go wireless, I bought the DJI wireless mic 2. I found out this was probably a little overkill for me because I'm only using one mic at a time. Really, thus far, if I've used two a couple of times, it was probably not even needed. Now, the new DJI Osmo Action 5 will let you sync two microphones at the same time. So if you're on a motorcycle and you want one on your headset, or inside your helmet rather, and maybe one in your back bag to pick up the sounds of the exhaust, that's an option. You could do that. I don't have the option with the Osmo Action 4 that I'm recording this on. So you'll see this came with two transmitters and a receiver. And so what happened is, the thing I like about the wireless mic is I don't have to worry about the wires and how they're coming into my helmet. I can flip up the modular. I haven't had any problem doing that. Flip it back down. It's attached by a very strong magnet that's inside the helmet. I haven't had any problems with it, with that part of it. For those of you who have commented on the sound on my videos, you seem pleased with the audio coming from the wireless mic. So kudos on that. Where I failed was to check the battery life. These things have pretty good battery life, and I'm going to look it up before I post this video, and I'll put it up here about how long they say the battery will go on a full day's charge. And you know, I try to have a process in place where I do the same thing over and over, but a couple of times I've screwed up the audio with this wireless mic by two ways. One is by the microphone not being paired with the camera when I thought it was. And you know, one of the things is I'm usually turning all this stuff on after the helmet is on. And so one way to know that the microphone is paired is to look in my mirror and see if the green bar is moving at the top for the sound meter. That sound meter is not there when it's using the camera's built-in microphones. And so every now and then you'll see me maybe even double checking and looking into the mirror. I'm looking to see if I see that green sound meter at the start of the ride. And apparently I thought I had done that. I thought I'd do it on just about every trip because that's how I know it's paired. And I didn't do that. So I guess I didn't do that and I missed it. So there was one way that I should have known it wasn't paired. The other way is you'll see this solid blue light when it's paired to the camera. Now the reason I'm hesitating is I could have swore that was a solid green light. So now I'm going to have to check why this one was blue when I thought it was solid green. But another way to check that it's synced to the camera is you get a solid blue light. So as I'm looking at the camera, this is recording, and I see the green sound meter. And I'm also moving this microphone around, so we'll see what that did to the audio. But there's also a blue light, and I'm not sure how this is going to show up on the camera, but it would be blinking or a different color if it wasn't paired. But keep in mind, I have this in my motorcycle helmet, and so what I'll do is when I look down, when it's inside my motorcycle helmet, and I'll look down and see if I see the solid light, which again, I thought I had done when I went out on this trip, and it died in midstream. My main reason for making this video was to remind you that if you're going to use the wireless microphone, don't be an idiot like me. Remember to charge it up. So my workflow had been every night when I come back from a ride, I download the helmet camera, I download the handlebar camera, immediately put those batteries on a charger, and then I take the microphone out of the helmet and put it in its case and charge it up. Now, it's easy to forget that step because the camera footage I obviously want and need to process what I'm going to do with it later. Don't need the microphone. And I think I just forgot. The darn thing is so reliable and tends to last a full day or so. So I could sometimes, depending on how long I ride, you know, if it's a shorter ride, I can use it for 2 or 3 trips if they're shorter. And, you know, there's 2 ways to check this. I'm going to show you now what I'm going to start trying to remember to look for when I go out on a ride. All right, I'm going to see how this works to show you what I'm talking about. This is the camera normally on my helmet, and it's going to be paired with this microphone that's currently blinking green like it should. So when I turn on this camera, we'll see how long it takes it to pair. But what I want you to see is when it pairs, it'll briefly show the connection status and the battery life. There you go. And it says 100% battery remaining. Now you'll see it didn't stay up there long. So the other way that you can check this is to swipe down, hit the settings, you scroll to wireless mic, and right there it shows you 100% battery life. So that's another way to check it. And oh, by the way, when I take a longer trip, I take this whole thing along, and I go back and forth between the 2 microphones as one possible solution. And the other thing I do is if one is gone down all the way, I put it in here. This is a charging case. And so like if I were to show you this right now, my 3 lights here are for the charging case. And so you could just bring this along and charge it. But the other thing I can do is I have a battery pack in my saddlebags, and I can plug in the charging case so that it's also getting power to charge up the microphones. I do that on longer trips that I've taken, like full day, where I know I'm going to be out all day. But usually the 2 microphones alone, if I need anything, will get me through the day, and I don't really need to charge them. But you know, if you're at lunch or something, you could charge these. I do charge the batteries for the camera if I'm not using a battery pack in my pocket to charge. But the main reason I was making this video was to just remind you to check the battery life. You can see it when it pairs. You can look on the camera because I lost out on an hour and a half, maybe a little longer of footage. I can't recall most of what I was talking about or where, and I wasn't even out that long. It's just that I had been wearing that microphone for a few days and I had not apparently taken it out and charged it. All right, that should do it. I'll see you on the road.